let's talk about is Jermell Charlo trying to pull a Kell Brook on Terence Crawford, or in the PBC trying to diminish Terence Crawford. Now, at the end of the day, Tim Tszyu got a raw deal. Jermell will be stripped right after the Canelo ring walks, and Tim Tszyu will be champion, WBO world title holder. So, I mean, he got a raw deal out the deal, but he get the title, and possibly a fight with Terence Crawford, some people believe could be in the pipeline. And then, if Jermell is able to hold the belt and he come back down, if Terence Crawford get past Tim Tszyu, which is not a given, then it's like they can fight for undisputed. But at the same time, it's kind of like how they try to diminish the Terence Crawford fight. The Errol Spence fight for Terence Crawford. By having Errol Spence being active for a year, right? And over a year, almost a year and a half, and then get in the ring, and it's like, oh man, you know what? Errol Spence he outgrew the weight class, and he was weight drained, and now you got people trying to diminish Terence Crawford victory, and that's what they trying to do with Jermell Charlo. Go up 2 weight classes, fight Canelo, get knocked down, drain back down. If you beat Terence Crawford, see, I'm great at my weight class. If you lose to Terence Crawford, Terence Crawford fought a weight drained Jermell Charlo, and a Charlo that Canelo already knocked out. Now, they try to ignore that shit when it comes to Errol Spence and Triple G. All these are media manipulative tactics. How they tell you, well, Terence Crawford fought Kell Brook, and he Errol Spence had already did it. Well, so Sean Porter Sean Porter was already beat by Kell Brook and Keith Thurman when Errol Spence fought him. Kell Brook was coming off a loss in the broken orbital bone by moving up 2 weight classes before he fought Errol Spence. Before he fought Terence Crawford, he said he felt the best he ever felt, and he was coming off a winning streak. But they don't tell you that part in the media, and they sit there and say, "Oh, who is this guy beating?" And we seen, obviously, Top Rank matchmaking is a lot better than PBC matchmaking. See, these are media manipulative tactics that they use, and y'all run with them instead of doing your research or learning about the sport. See, on this internet shit, I've been on this internet boxing shit for a long time, even before I had this channel. I was on it when it was actually closer to, or it was more organic than it is now. Before Pacquiao Mayweather really came along for real, and divided the community. So I didn't heard, sparring partners. I didn't heard fast opponent, past trainers. And what I learned about it is you can't listen to them. You got to be able to do your own homework on these fighters. You got to learn the sport, learn what to look for, do your own homework, because they will pull these media manipulative tactics. They will do it. They will do it. That's one thing that you can count on. They will do it. But guess what? The cream always rises to the top. The truth always comes to the light. And that's what they try to do. They tried to dupe y'all into thinking that Terence Crawford hadn't fought nobody. And we seen who was fighting the setups. We seen who was fighting the layups. We seen. And it wasn't Terence Bud Crawford. But nonetheless, in my humble opinion, it just came boiled down to that they just trying to continue to undercut him. All of a sudden, it went from Jermell to Jermell fighting him. I think that had a lot to do with Jermell not being ready, but I also think it was convenient to take away from Terence Crawford again. This way, Terence Crawford can get Errol Spence and still get Jermell Charlo, and they can have built-in excuses still to undercut Bud. That's what they doing. That's what they doing. And you can't get mad at Charlo for turning down a payday and accommodating Canelo Alvarez. That's what he doing. Canelo get a tune-up for his first fight. Jermell get a payday. Everybody go home happy. Don't nobody believe a bash chance in hell that he can beat Canelo Alvarez. And that fight might do less pay-per-views than a John Ryder fight. It might. Because don't nobody like Jermell Charlo. Don't nobody like the Charlos. They trend line is trending now. The whole state of Texas looking shaky out here. It's looking shaky out here. But that's what they trying to do. I'm gonna come all the way back down and then get beat up, and then I couldn't make the weight, and I came off a knockout loss, and Crawford had 2 fights before he got in there with me, and that's what you gonna hear. That's exactly what you gonna hear. And if he win, you know, it was just all right. I took a chance to fought Canelo, went too high. Canelo didn't want to do a catch weight or nothing. You know, I came back down and proved that I'm an all-time great by beating Terence Crawford. He coming off of great wins. That's how you do it. That's what they doing. He pulling the Kell, Brook. He pulling the Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia didn't want to fight Roberts Jr. either. Until Robbie Jr. looked beatable versus Javier Fortuna. Exactly what it was. So, let's say what they want to say, bro. That's exactly what they doing. They still undercutting Bud. They still underpitching Bud. But guess what? Just like when they look at Canelo resume, people who didn't live in this era, they just gonna look at the names and not be able to hear the backstory. If Terence Crawford is able to beat Errol Spence and beat Jermell Charlo, that's what people gonna look at. That's all they gonna remember. That's all they gonna remember. Them niggas from Texas, dude. Them man, Jermell, Jamal, and Errol, they ain't no real. The Charlo, they fighters, but they not real fighters. They just athletes that found the niche in boxing. And if they had the fighter spirit, dude, they probably would be all-time greats already. But they just boxers they just fighters that just happen not to love the sport. They not true fighters. Terence Crawford's a true fighter. He's a throwback. The Charlos, they just athletes that box, in my opinion. Errol Spence is an athlete that made money off boxing. If they can play football, basketball, and do other things and act, they would do that rather than box. And at the end of the day, taking punches for a living, I don't blame them. What right mind individual want to do that? You got the love of sport to want to do that. You gotta love it. You know? You got to love it. But at the same time, yeah, they trying to take away from Bud greatness. Still, you got to understand the Charlos and Errol Spence, you know, they grandfathered in with PBC. They grandfathered in. Like it or not, they grandfathered in. Like it or not, they grandfathered in. But, you know, but it is what it is. Bud, you only compete to put the guys who they put in front of you. You got to prepare for the best version of them. But, you know, do I think he going to come back down? He probably will. Kind of like Caleb Plant first got that taste of, the Canelo money. In that 2 fight later, he ran it back with Benavidez. The money too good. The money too good. Them guys want to keep tasting that pay-per-view money. That premium money. So of course he gonna come off Canelo, probably sit down for a year, and then probably gonna come back. And probably come back and fight Terence Crawford and get it back. And probably retire after that shit. If he lose. So people gonna say, well, you know, Terence Crawford fought Jermell, went all the way up. But they won't mention that shit about Kell, Brook, and Jermell. Kell, Brook, and Errol Spence. They won't mention that shit. So it is what it is. Let me know what you girls and guys think. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications. Increase your chance to get notifications. You go live or drop a video. Financially want to support the channel. Cash App, $CJ Good313. Venmo, CJ Good313. PayPal link in the description. Hit the link tree. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Apollo 9. Appreciate the love and support.